So let's continue with frames today. So now, first let us see what do you mean by a frame set. So the entire code corresponds to frame or frames that is usually embedded between frameset tag. That is, we write this way, frameset, a couple of statements, and then slash frameset. This is a tag, frameset tag. So this tag must be included in head region of code and not in the body region of XHTML code. So now let us see what are the attributes of frameset. So attributes are frameset is number 1, columns, number 2, rows. So what does columns do? It displays the total number of columns and the size of the frame set, and it is measured in pixels. Whereas rows displays the total number of rows and the size of the frame set, and even rows are measured in pixels. So let us take a program. So I will be giving you a code which creates multiple frames on the screen. And these frames are created using frameset tag. So let us name the program as frame1.html. So first we give the HTML tag and then the head tag, title, program1 / title, then body, BG color, that is background color. We are setting it to pink. Next, center, strong, H1. This is program 1. Now we are closing the H1 tag. Then we are closing the strong tag. And then we are closing the center tag. Now we are closing the body tag. Then close the HTML tag. So over here we have created frame 1. Now let's see how to create frame 2 and frame 3. So let us name it as frame2.html. Again we give the tag HTML, then head tag, then title tag. Title we are naming it as program 2. Then close the title by giving / title tag. Then we close the head tag. Now we open the body tag. In body we mention background color equals cyan. Then center tag, strong tag, then H1 tag. This is program 2. This is the heading. Now close the heading tag. Now close the strong tag. The same way close the center tag. Now close the body tag and close the HTML tag. This is how we create the second frame. Now let's create the third frame, that is frame3.html. Now again we give the HTML tag. Then we give the head tag. Now we give the title tag. The title is program 3. Close the title tag. Now close the head tag. Now open the body tag. Here we are declaring the background color as blue. Now center tag, strong tag, then heading H1. This is program 3. Now close the heading tag, close the strong tag, and close the center tag. Now close the body tag, close the HTML tag. Now we create mainframe.html. So we will combine all the 3 frames in this frame set. So now again we open the HTML tag, then head tag, and then title tag. The title is Program to Create Multiple Frames. Now close the title tag. And now we open the frame set tag. Frame set rows equals 25%, 25%, 25%. So 25% is allotted to each of the frame. Now frame src equals frame1.html, then frame src equals frame2.html, then frame src equals frame3.html. Now we close the frame set. We close the head tag. And at last we close the HTML tag. Now after completing the program, let us understand about frame element. So what is frame element and how do we use it? So the frame element should be contained within the frame set element, and it specifies one or more frames within the frame set, as we have seen just now. So it is an empty element. It should always carry an attribute called as src. So in the previous program you have seen we have used src. So it is an attribute which is called src, which indicates the location of the HTML document to be loaded in the specific frame. So let us understand what are the attributes of frame element. So number 1 is src attribute. Number 2 is name attribute. Number 3 is frame border attribute. Number 4 is margin width and margin height attribute. Number 5 is no resize attribute. Number 6 is scrolling attribute. Number 7 is long disk attribute. So these are the different attributes of frame element. So first let us understand one after the other. First let's see what is src attribute. So src attribute is used to specify the file that must be displayed in the frame. For example, src equals program.html. So this is the example, src equals program.html. This is for the first attribute src. Now coming to the second attribute, that is name attribute. So name attribute is used to provide the name for a frame. And this name is used when the links are created in one frame and used as a target in other frame for loading the pages. For example, name equals quotations open, program, quotations close. Now the third attribute is frame border attribute. So where it is used to define the borders around the frames. So the values for frame border attribute is, there are two values. Either you give 1 or yes. Then the second one is 0 or no. So 1 is the default value that specifies borders that must be shown. And 0 is used to specify borders that must not to be shown. Then coming to the fourth attribute, that is margin width and margin height. So this attribute sets left and right margin size of a frame. And this attribute sets the top and bottom margin of a frame. So for margin width is used for left and right margin size. It is used for top and bottom margin of a frame. So for example, margin width equals 15. Margin height equals 15. Then number 5 is no resize. No resize attribute. So it is used to prevent the resize of a frame. So its value is no resize. For example, no resize, this is an attribute that is equal to, within double quotes, we write no resize. Within double quotes is the value. And on the left hand side, which I have taken, that is the attribute. Then one is scrolling. So the scrolling attribute is used within the frame element to provide the scrolling bar if the content of the frame does not fit into the available size of the frame, then you can scroll it down. Okay, so for the scrolling attribute, and it can take three possible values. What are the three possible values you can take? One is yes, other is no, and the third one is auto. So what does this yes do? Yes specifies that the frame should always have a scroll bar. No specifies that the frame should never have the scroll bar. And auto specifies that the browser can automatically create the scrolling bar if the content of the frame does not fit in the size of the frame. Then number 6 is long desk. Long desk attribute. So this attribute displays the pages that contain long content description. So its value must be URL that points the description. For example, long desk equals frame description dot html. Now we shall take a program for illustrating the frame set element attributes. So the program name is frame.html. Ampersand, exclamation doc type HTML. Then open the tag HTML. Then open the tag Frameset, followed by columns equals 80%, 50%. Then frame src equals frame1.html. Then frame border equals 1. Then frame Margin height equals 12. Then frame no resize equals no resize. Then frame name equals frame 1. Then frame margin width equals 15. Then frame scrolling equals yes. Now slash frameset slash HTML. Now we'll create another frame in the same program. So let's name it as frame1.html. So first we need to open the tag HTML, then head tag, then title tag. Title is program1. Close the title tag. Then open the body tag. BG color equals pink. Then center tag, strong tag, then heading H1. This is program 1. Close the heading tag, close the strong tag, and close the center tag. Then close the body tag and close the HTML tag. So we are creating 2 frames over here. Now we will see how the links can be created between frames. So the linking between frames is provided in 3 conditions. So what are the 3 conditions? The first condition is when the main document is lengthy, then the navigation bar is used to provide the shortcuts to the parts of the main document. And the second condition is when a user does not want to reload the whole page. And the third condition is when the size of the navigation bar is too large, then the usage of frames prevents the user to reload the navigation bar each time they view the new page. And now the linking between frames can be provided by using 2 main attributes. What are they? One is name attribute and the other is target attribute. So what does this name attribute do? It specifies the name of the frame in which the new page can be loaded. And the value of the target attribute can be the name of the frame in which the new page is going to be loaded. And the difference between name and target attribute is that the name attribute is used in the frame element, whereas the target attribute is used in the A element. Name is used under the frame element and target is used under the A element. And the other possible values that can be accepted by the target attribute is self, blank, parent, and then top. So first let us understand what is self. So self loads the page into the current frame and this blank loads the page into the new window. Then parent loads the page into the parent window. That is, in the case of a single set of frames, the new page will replace all the frames. So in case of nested frames, the new page will replace the frame containing the sets of frame. And then coming to the top loads the page into the current window by replacing any current frame. So this concept of frame can be explained with the help of a program. So let us name the program as frames.html. So first we give the HTML tag and then we give the frame set element followed by columns equals to 30% and 70%. So you are dividing the frame set into two parts. One is 30% of the frame set and the other is 70% of the frame set. Now frame src equals links.html. Then frame src equals links info.html. Name equals main underscore frame. Then close the frame set. Now close the HTML. So in the above example, two frames are created. One frame loads the page, that is links.html. It loads the page. And the other frame, that is linksinfo.html, it initializes it with the page. So let us see the code for linksinfo. So this is the code for linksinfo. Tag HTML, head tag, then close the head tag. Now open the body tag. Now open the heading tab, main page, then close the heading tag. Then H3, this page provide you the information about books present in the navigation frame. Just click any one of them and obtain the relevant information here. Then close the H3 tag. Now close the body tag and close the HTML tag. So this is the code for linksinfo.html. Now let me give you the code for links.html. So first we take the HTML tag and then head tag, then close the head tag, then open the body tag, then heading tag H1, about books. Then close the H1 tag. Now U1, open the U1. Now open the list tag. Under this we follow it by A element. A href equals quotations open b1.html quotations close target equals quotations open main underscore frame quotations close web technologies close the A tag and close the list tag. Now we create another list. Again we proceed the same way. A href equals b2.html target equals quotations open main underscore frame quotations close j2me. Now close the A element and close the list tag. Then we create one more list. Again the same way. A href equals b3.html target equals main underscore frame software engineering close the A tag and close the list tag. Now you close the UL tag and close the body tag, and at last close the HTML tag. So in this example, program that is links.html, where the link web technologies is clicked, so the contents of the page B1 HTML gets loaded into the target frame, which is named as main frame. Similarly, when the other links are clicked, their associated pages B2.html and B3.html gets loaded into the target frame. Now let us understand about base element. So like how base element is used to set the default target frame. So base element is used to set the default target frame in any web page. So links are provided in other frame, and it has target attribute with the value as name for the frame. So links nav.html is added in the code as a default frame target. So let's see how do we give it. So first take the head tag, then base target equals to main underscore page, quotations close, tag close, then close the head tag. So this is the way of giving the base element. Now let us understand about nested frame sets. So a frame set specifies the grid-like structure for displaying rows and columns. And a nested frame set is created by placing the second frame set element instead of one of the frame element. So let's see how can we do that. We'll take an example. Exclamatory mark, doc type, HTML. Then we give the tag HTML. Then frame set rows. We are setting the rows now. Rows we are setting as 60%, 40%. Now frame src equals, we can give a link over here. http://java2s.com. Now we set the columns. Frame set columns equals 25%, 75%. Then frame src equals http://java2s.com. Then one more. Frame src equals http://java2s.com. Then close the frame set tag, then again close the frame set tag, and then close the HTML tag. So after understanding everything about frame set, let us understand what is iframe element. So iframe element is also called as inline or floating frames. Inline or floating frames. So this tag helps in defining an inline frame. So an inline frame embeds one HTML document into another HTML document. So what are the frames used here? Number one is src attribute. Number two is align attribute. Number three is height and width attribute. Then number four is frame border attribute. Number five is long desk attribute. Number six is margin height. and margin width attribute. Number 7 is scrolling attribute. So first let us discuss about each one of them. So first let us take what is SRC attribute. So SRC defines a URL path, that is the address to the frame. Next, align attribute. It directs the alignment of iframe. So its values are top, bottom, middle, left, and right. So the values for the align attribute are left, right, top, middle, bottom. So what is top? What does it do? The frame is set at the top and it is inlined with the text. Then coming to the bottom, the frame is set at the bottom and it is inlined with the text. Then next is middle. So frame is set at the middle and it is inlined with the text. Then what about left? The frame is set at the left margin of the page and the text is displayed at the right side. Then coming to the right, the frame is set at the right margin of the page and the text is displayed at the left side. So this is all about align attribute. Next, let us move on to height and width attribute. So height defines the height of iframe. For example, we can take height equals 120. Whatever values you are initializing, you have to keep it within double quotes. And then what does
Yes.
width do? It defines the width of iframe. So width equals, let's say 400. Next is frame border. So frame border sets a border around iframe. So the value for a frame border must be number of pixels. So the value 0 represents no border. For example, if I give frame border equals to 0, which means it has no border. Now let's see what is long desk. So the long desk attribute is used for specifying, indicating a link to another page, and a description is given in the form of text. So this includes images, charts, and graphs in the frame. So for example, let's see long desk equals dot dot slash text description slash iframe pgm dot html. Next, moving on to margin height and margin width. So margin height sets left and right around iframe content, and it is used to provide the distance between border and content of the frame in terms of pixels. For example, margin height equals 5. And then margin width attribute, it sets left and right margins around iframe content and it provides the distance between border and content of the frame in terms of pixels. Next, the last attribute is scrolling attribute. So scrolling attribute is used to specify whether the frame must contain scroll bars. So let us take a program to illustrate these attributes. So let's take an example. First we take iframe element, then exclamatory mark, doc type HTML, then HTML, then body tag, and then H2 tag, iframe element, slash H2 tag. Now iframe, we are giving the attributes here. Height equals 300 pixels, width equals 100%, then src equals frame1.html. We always give the path here. Then name equals iframe element. Then slash iframe. Now we give the paragraph type, paragraph tag. Now href equals http. We give the URL over here, / www.google.com. Then target equals iframe element. Now Google page /a/p. Now close the body tag and close the HTML tag.